I'm okay. Right, so here I am, a 34-year-old man, stood at the front of a room, and I'm about to profess a love for two little dinosaurs in bubbles. That's not what my mum said when I told her, because she said, well, when you were growing up, you were into things like going to Blundell Park to watch Grimsby. How did you turn out liking little dinosaurs in a computer game? I said, well, all them times you thought I was going to Blundell Park, I was actually going to this place, and this is what it looks like now. This is an arcade in Cleethorpes, because I'm from that part of the world. It's in the East Midlands, not north apparently. Cheers, Rich. And that's what it looks like now. And I know it looks like that now because I went there 2 months ago, and it looked nothing like this, which is like, you know, the rose-tinted vision of what when you were a kid. And I used to take the £5 pocket money my mum gave me when I was stuck away at some shitty little boarding school in Grimsby, and I used to spend it all on slot machines. And then I'd go home and I'd beg my mum over the phone to buy me one of these, which is the Commodore 64. Now, poor kids have these. Rich kids have these. Now, my mum was poor, but she bought me the rich thing, but then made me load games on these tapes. Now, these tapes, this is what you had, because you only had 3 tapes, didn't you? And what you did is you recorded onto over and over and over and over. And my mate recorded for me a demo of Bubble Bobble onto this. And the first time I loaded it after I came through was this. It wasn't the arcade where I'd seen it, it was here on the Commodore 64. My love of games in arcades would come to this, and everyone in the magazines like Zap 64 saying, it's just like playing the arcade. That is not like playing the arcade. But you've got to respect the use of exclamation marks. You've got to admire the font usage here, which I think designers in the room might do. And when you click start, this is what happened. Because until this point in my life, I was happy playing summer games. And just all these different baddies and all these little references. On this point, I became really interested in looking at Japanese cartoons, because all this is influenced clearly by Japanese stuff. And I thought, this is a phase, it'll pass, you know, I'm a kid, I'm just into this sort of thing. But then my mum bought me one of these. Now, poor kids had the Target STs, and rich kids had this. I know. 512k of memory in that bad boy. And do you know what you put into them? One of these. I showed my daughter my Amiga over the summer. My daughter was 7, and she just looked at me in a kind of expression and said, Dad, what the fuck is this? And this is what I wanted to show her, which is after Bubble Bobble, the dragons, they became humans in some way that was never really explained. And instead of being on one screen, they could shoot rainbows, and they could go up the screen, and they were still after animals and monsters, turning them into fruits. Oh, but by this point, it wasn't 1988. This was like 1993. Jesus Christ, I should be out there chasing girls behind bike sheds. What am I doing? I'm fucking shooting rainbows to get insects! 2 years later, this came on, and I know it's the Nintendo version, I couldn't find the Amiga version for anyone out there who wants to be a bit of a pedant. Fuck you. And this is the 3rd version, see, 3, and it's Parasol Stars. And they're still boys, they haven't regressed, but they've got umbrellas. And by this point, I was starting to read a lot of Wild, and by God, I loved umbrellas. So this was brilliant, it's just like connecting me in so ways. And what these guys did, they then took them into this game, which was Puzzle Bobble. You can get this on the iPhone, you know, so they've gone from dinosaurs that shoot bubbles, they've gone to boys that do rainbows, and then Taito, the producers, reduced them to 2 little side pieces at the bottom. I say, t-shirts, original dragons, none of that shit at the bottom. Insert coin, please do. This is what Leeds Digital Week should be about.
Simon!